Can one or two persons just unmute and speak? Let me be sure that you are here. How are you feeling? How are you doing? How's your weekend been? Anyone? Does anyone want to speak? I'm actually checking the chat box to see if there's any message. Oh, okay. Hi, Alison. Please go ahead.
Hi, Miss Victoria. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you, and I'm sure everybody can.
Good evening. How my weekend has been it's 50-50. I went out to eat at a restaurant and I think I got food poisoning. So I've been pretty much bedridden since Friday evening. But
Okay.
aside from discomfort, I had a pretty chill weekend. And I'm definitely not looking forward to Monday. I just want an extended Sunday.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry about that. But thank you very much for talking to me. And I hope that you feel a lot better and somehow something makes you smile and makes you look forward to tomorrow. Okay. Oh, Anita says her weekend was good. She resumed school this week, few days late, but did a lot of catching up. That's very nice. I love it. Thank you guys for sharing. I just wanted to check if everyone is okay before I start, talking and talking and talking. It's very important to know that you guys are fine. So let me quickly pull up my slides and just speak to it. I'm just going to try to not facilitate, but just like talk to us one on one. And I hope that works. Please let me know if you can see anything on my screen. If you can see anything, just do like a thumbs up or something so that I know. Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, so I've been asked to speak on life learning and adaptability in a rapidly changing job market. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alison. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Anita. And yeah, so I've been asked to speak on this topic. When I saw this, I was like, wow, this is a lot. It's a lot of information to unpack. And sincerely, it's not something that can be spoken to or can be really dissected in one day because there's a lot of components in this kind of conversation. But I will just try to narrow it down. What I did was to try to narrow it down with a few slides and just to have this conversation, hoping that some other time, maybe in the future, we can all revisit and then continue from where we stopped today. So I'm not going to go into details about myself. You already heard you already heard a bit about me, but that's who I am. I am just like you. So forget all the portfolios. So for me, this session especially is just to ensure that I walk you through or I help you understand why we are talking about life learning and adaptability and why it matters in today's job market. And especially because a number of us on this call are pretty young. And so this is a very key conversation that we are going to be having today. So I would like to ask that we try and be here and feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, or if you lost track at any point, please just call my attention to it so that we can all be on the same page. Typically, when I'm asked to facilitate, I like to ask questions first so that it helps us, do some shaking up of the room, right? So I have two questions actually, and so the first question is let's think about let's think futuristic now. In 10 years from now, what you're doing currently. Let's say you're working, you have a 9 to 5, or you have a business you're managing, or you're in school. But at some point, you have picked up one or two skills. So think about the next 10 years. What you're doing currently, will it still be relevant? I just want you to take 1 or 2 minutes to just think about that quickly. Do you think that your skills will still be relevant 10 years from now? Just a quick thought right there. Something to just, I mean, I'm also thinking as well as I'm asking you to think. And I would love 1 or 2 persons to share with me. If yes, why? And all of that. Just giving you a little time. Okay. Beatrice says she believes so. Okay. Any other person? Any other person? Let's be confident. There's no wrong answer and there's no right answer. I mean, we're all thinking about this thing together. So, okay, you think so? Okay, because you love what you're doing. Amazing. Okay, so for all the yeses that I'm getting, right? Can you please unmute? Maybe I will just call people now. So let me quickly look. Okay, let me go with Beatrice, the first person. Hi, Beatrice. Can you please unmute and just share with us why you think your skills will still be relevant in 10 years from now? Just quickly, why you think it will still be relevant in 10 years? Can you hear anyone? I can't hear anybody.
Yes, good evening, ma'am.
Hi,
Good evening,
Beatrice.
everyone.
Hi. Hi.
My skill is graphic design, which is involved in tech folder now. So tech evolves. From what I can see, it's been evolving and improving for like years now. So I believe it's something that's not going to die. As a matter of fact, it's going to improve and be more popular in the next 10 years.
Okay. Very interesting. Thank you for sharing. Really glad that you're doing graphics design and you're not, it's very, very, so the field where you play in, I think you have a bit of, we have more women now trying to play in that field compared to, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago. So it's really something that I love and I'm glad that you're doing. Um, who else wants to go? Precious, do you want to go? Or Bolaji? Bolaji Precious, do you want to unmute and speak? Why do you think your skills will still be relevant in 10 years from now? Okay. Okay. Hi, Sean. You can go.
Hello.
Hi.
So, well, I mentioned earlier that writing is something I love doing. So it's been like something I have been doing since when I was a child. So I used to do it as a hobby before, but after finding out that I could actually monetize it, so
Mm-hmm.
I decided to just focus on it and do better so that I will get to that point in the future where I'm like in the top platform, authors platform, where I can see my fellow authors, I can see my progress, see my work everywhere and all that. So I feel like it's going to be a very good career path for me in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. I totally agree with you. What you're doing is one of the top demanding skills right now. So I really think that you're on the right track, and then well done for all you're doing. I'm just going to take one last person, and this time around, I'll be asking the second question If you could learn any new thing right now, any new skill, what would that be and why? Just one person so we can quickly move to the next slide. If you could learn any new skill apart from what you're doing, what would it be and why? Okay. Hi, Anita. You can go ahead. Hello, Anita. Hi, Anita. Can you hear us? Okay. I thought I saw our hands raised. Does anyone wants to try? If you could learn a new skill apart from all you've ever known all your life, if you learn a new thing today, what would it be and why? Why would you be learning that? Tech. I think I would love to learn a new skill related to tech. That's victory. Honestly, I'm with you on this one. I've been trying to learn something techy, but I don't even know what I'm doing with that. Okay. Sean says she has always, I'm assuming you're a lady, so I'm sorry if you're a male, but let me ask, are you a lady? Okay, great. All right. So you want to learn coding. Is it wrong that I don't have a particular? No, I mean, you don't always have to have a reason. You could just love something for the fun of the thing. So, I mean, this call is just this. This is just to sample your opinion and to see where your head is at. So that it helps us as we go along on this session. So that's why I'm asking. So you don't really. There's no wrong or right answer right now. I'm just trying to sample where your mind is at. So coding is really a lovely thing to do. I hear it can be challenging though, but I mean you're up to it. Okay, grant writing. I honestly I love money, so I'm with you on this. Data science, yes. Web design and development, yes. Okay, Anita says she would love something in fashion, not design per se, but marketing and merchandising aspects. Amazing. Photography, yes. Coding, yes. Web design. Okay. Tech related skills, content writing. Come on, you guys are helping me. You're giving me ginger. You would learn how to cook. Nice. I mean, Hidabasi is making a lot of money, so it's not a conversation that we should be even thinking about. We should learn it. All of us should go and learn how to cook so we can all make money. Okay, so thank you very much for all your responses and letting me into your mind. I love absolutely where your ideas are coming from, and I think that these are something that you should be intentional about, right? And that's the next thing I would love to speak to. So the next slide really is just me trying to help you see where we at the current job market, right? So basically, we live in a very changing world. We all know that things have really changed, and I'm talking about from the year COVID was 2019, right? So 2019, 2020, it just looks like the world was just on a very fast lane, and everything is just moving at speed. And as things are moving, so is the job market, so is every sector moving. What is very applicable right now on the job market 2 3 years ago, it's not applicable. So you see new things coming up, processes are being automated. You read a lot of articles and they tell you that, oh, in 10 years time robots will be taking over humans job, those kind of stuff. So those kind of things are real, and it's not just to scare you, but it's just to show you how much the world is evolving and changing, because I mean time and chance does not wait for anyone. And so technology has also made that change very, very fast, because things are changing. There is AI now. There wasn't AI 10 years ago, but now there is AI. People can literally clone you. Things you can just sit in your room and just, AI gives you everything. You don't have to really stress so much. Just one information that you're putting on Google and you get everything. So things are really changing. And as young people, it is very, very important that we stay ahead of the trend. We stay informed, we stay updated, we try to reinvent ourselves so that we're not left out of this train. And a few months ago, I was at a speaking engagement with the Future Work Africa and Bella Niger, and we were just talking about the future of work for young people across Africa, looking at the skills that are going to be in demand in the next 10 years, looking at the skills that are going to be outdated. And that's one of the reasons why I asked those questions about if your skill will still be relevant in 10 years, and if you had a new thing to learn, what would you be learning and all of that. So it's very important for us to keep this conversation very close to heart, right? It's very uncomfortable, even to me as well. It's very uncomfortable because things are changing and everybody is asking, so what's the next big thing? What's the next move? What's the next thing for me? Am I on track? Do I need to do something else to be ahead of my competitors or ahead of my peers, or even on the same peers, on the same pace with my peers? So this conversation really, is very timely. And the key to all of this is just being intentional about what you're doing right now, doing a lot of reading, a lot of researching, a lot of networking, a lot of intentionality into what you're currently doing. Because, like I said, the landscape is changing and it's changing really, really fast. And so to achieve all of these things, before you even get into the big space or, start playing with the big players, there are two things that I want you to keep in mind. And it's not something very different from what you have heard before. It's your mindset. In as much as the job market is changing or things are, changing. I mean, in our country, things are also changing. Economy is changing. Everybody's shouting, "Tinubu, Tinubu, Tinubu," But your mindset really, it's where it all plays out. Your mindset really. So let's define terms, right? Before we get into the whole conversation of mindset and what to do and what not to do. And for me, I like to break things down so that it helps us assimilate better, or helps me assimilate better. So life learning or lifelong learning is the process where you continually or continuously pursue education and skill development beyond formal schooling. And this is usually very voluntary and self-motivated. Nobody can motivate you to, get more education. You have to do that yourself. It is the responsibility to develop yourself is solely on you, right? So your parents have done the first level of work, which is sending you to a uni or sending you to an institute or, like a formal school where you're learning behind closed doors, four walls and all of that. That's what your parents can own you. Send you to the UK to do masters and all of that. That's their own. They've done the first level of work, right? But the desire or the process where you continuously look at yourself and say, I can be more, beyond getting a BSc, I could get a master's. Beyond getting a master's, I could get a PhD. After PhD, I can do this and do that. Like the process of wanting more is what we're referring to as lifelong learning. And this is usually by yourself. It is self-motivated. It is voluntary, right? And this is where I would like to share a bit of my own story. So after secondary school, my dad called me and was like, okay, what do you want to do? Normally, I know the next answer is you're going to uni to go and study. Everybody knows that. But the kind of household I grew up in, my dad will ask you, do you want to do vocational training or you want to go to school? Let's know where to channel your best gift or your talent, into, because he was a very firm believer of, yes, you go to school and do that, but he also believed that there is a place for talent and, to harness, he's always looking out opportunities to harness your talent. So you might not be maybe a uni student, you might just be in an institute learning tech or coding or something. He was very open to that. And so I said, okay, I wanted to go to school. And I went to school. I did my first degree and I graduated. And for a lot of people or a lot of my colleagues as at that time, that was like they've achieved everything to them. I've gone to school. You people say I should go to school. I've gone, I've collected certificates. I'm back now. Let me go and look for money, That's where it all ended for them. But for me, I looked at myself and I looked at what I wanted to be or what I wanted to be doing. And I knew that no matter how much my parents encouraged me to pursue education, the responsibility or the will to actually do it, it was just on my shoulders. I mean, they could just be talking from now to tomorrow, go and get your master's, go and do this, go and do that. But if I don't actually put in the effort or stand up to, go look for the information and do the needful, it would just be a dream or just one of those things that they were talking about. And so I decided, okay, do I want to do my master's or do I want to do something else? And so after my first degree, I went for my NYSC. I served, I got a job, and then I started working. Masters wasn't anymore in the picture at that time because of course I was already making money. So I was like, I still have time. I'm young. I'll still go back. I'll still go back. And along the way, prior to me getting into school, I was already doing, small work. I had one jam center where I was teaching, and then, that just gave me like a bit of work experience. But a formal work experience was actually gotten when I was doing my NYSC. That was when I worked in a proper 9 to 5 establishment. So I knew that, okay, this is a different ball game. And for me to survive in that place, there are things that I need to do. And so I started, talking to, I spoke to the HR person that, oh, I would like to do this and that. What courses can I do? What, what materials can I read up on? What resources do you have? That was when I was in my service year anyway. So I applied myself to learning, doing a lot of online courses, doing a lot of understudying, doing a lot of shadowing of my manager, to pick up some of these skills that I have. So when I look back and I look at what I learned in school, what I read in uni, compared to what I'm doing, there are two. In fact, I'm not even doing anything related to what I learned in school. And guess what? I read philosophy and religion in school, but I'm actually playing in the social development space. That does not even correlate at all. And that was because I went out of my traditional way of saying, okay, I've gotten a certificate, I need to, do this and like that. And I pursued more information, more learning, because that helped me to stay relevant. So a lot of my mates that did service with me in the same organization, after our service year, they all left. They did not retain them. I mean, there were other factors, yes, not because I was keen on learning or, there was something spectacular, but the fact that I had already possessed some skills that could be worked on. I was no longer fresh out of school. I was no longer that raw material that they needed so much work to put in place and all that. So it was kind of easy for me to be immersed into the system. So what I'm just trying to explain here is the process of lifelong learning, right? So beyond your formal education, that thing you do to pursue learning, to pursue knowledge out of what you know already is what we are referring to as lifelong learning. And it is voluntary, it is self-motivated. The second thing is adaptability. And it might be funny to know, but every Nigerian have these traits of adaptability. We are very resilient people in this country. And the reason I say this is because a lot of things have happened in this country that should have broken normal people. I don't think we are normal in this country, honestly. Like, I mean, I know it's funny, but this is how I say it. I don't think Nigerians are built different. And because we are able to adapt to so many things that are not normal. And you will only find out if you've ever traveled out of the shores of this country. You will see that things that we have normalized here are not normal right there. So that's, we've sort of built, I don't know how, but we have that trait of adaptability. But in the whole sense of the word, adaptability is the ability to, adjust to new conditions, new situations, especially tough situations that you have not even encountered before, and still thrive. So that's adaptability. And honestly, I think that we all have that trait in this country. So back to the mindset discussion. For us to be able to achieve or to be able to do well with adapting to work environment, the changing job landscape, the changing job markets, there are two mindsets there's one mindset we need to have, but typically people have two mindsets. So there is a fixed mindset and there is a growth mindset. The growth mindset is the one I will come to later, but let's start with the fixed mindset. So the fixed mindset people, and I need you to, as I'm speaking, I need you to look at yourself and see if these things are true, so you know where you fall in. So the people with fixed mindsets, as the word fix, very static, not friendly to change at all. They believe that intelligence or smartness is inborn. It's something that you are born with, and if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you're not good at something, there is no chance that you can be good at it ever in your life. Those kind of people, they have fixed mindsets. They also believe that, they also try to avoid challenges. And because they are always scared of failure, what if I fail? So if you have friends that you've spoken to about something and they're like, what if it doesn't go well? What if, what if, what if, what if? Those kind of people, they have fixed mindsets. They are always afraid of taking risk. They are always afraid of challenges. They try as much as possible to avoid it so that they don't fail. And you cannot learn if you don't fail. So I don't see failure as a bad thing. Personally, I don't see failure as a bad thing. I see it as a lesson. I see it as a learning curve to be able to do something better. I see failure as an opportunity to do something that I did the first time much more better in a new way, because I know that I have seen the pitfall, I have seen where I missed it. So learning from that would enable me or position me well to be able to do better the second time. So that's how I see failure. And again, people with a fixed mindset, they view feedback as personal attack. So you might be telling them that, oh, this thing that you're doing or this thing that you did doesn't go well. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Instead of them accepting feedback, they see it as you're attacking their person. They are not receptive to feedback at all. They are not very, they don't take feedback well. Those kind of people have fixed mindsets. And when you even give them feedback, they can become defensive when you point out where they have missed it. And so people with this kind of mindset cannot learn. That's where I'm going to. They cannot learn because their mind is already in a state of, their mind is not accepting anything new. Their mind have been programmed like that. So it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to access new opportunities or even open to them to learning, or even open their minds up to new possibilities. I don't think these people see anything as possibility because they are always on the negative side. But whereas people that are very open to life learning opportunities, or people that are open to possibilities, they possess a growth mindset. And this kind of mindset enables them to be able to constantly seek knowledge, seek to improve themselves, seek to be better than they were yesterday. They believe that intelligence can be improved. So it's not something that you are born with. I don't think anybody is born with intelligence or anybody is born with foolishness. I think that is something that can be learned and something that can be improved on as well. So people with growth mindsets, they put more effort to learn. They are very eager to learn. You find them everywhere around you. You just have to be very um observant. They are everywhere amongst your friends, amongst your family members. Just watch out for people like that. People that are not afraid of the what if it doesn't go that way. People that are always asking you, okay, what's there in failure? What if I don't fail? What if it goes well actually? What if, everything that I want to do actually comes through? Those kind of people, they have growth mindsets. They also see feedback as opportunity to learn. They see others' success as a source of inspiration. They are not threatened at all. So this kind of people, amongst everything that I have written here, have a higher chances of learning new things and opening themselves up to possibilities within the job market. And this kind of people, they are very, very prone to climbing up the ladder really fast than the fixed mindset people, because your boss or your manager or the person you're working with will be very open to assisting you or even placing you where the opportunity will meet you because of the kind of mindset that you have. So they flourish in a team setting actually. So if you have team members that have this kind of mindset, you should go and sleep, because I mean your project and whatever you're working on will naturally just take flight, because they're not pessimistic. They are very positive in their outlook and in everything that they are doing. So the next thing here that I want to quickly talk about is practical ways to life learning or to lifelong learning. How do you go about it? I know that I've said that the job market is quite challenging, it's changing, and um to be to stay on course, you have to open yourself to learning, you have to be intentional, you have to possess the growth mindset, you have to, just try as much as possible to improve yourself every day. But there are ways to go about it. And these 5 ways are what I do in my own life and what I have applied in my life or in the course of my career journey. First of all, the first thing you need to do is you have to set SMART goals. And by SMART, I mean specific goals, measurable goals, result-oriented goals, timely goals. Your goals have to be specific in the sense of what do I want to achieve? Or where do I want to see myself in 1 year from now? In 12 months, how do I want to see myself? Those are specific goals. You're not just saying, oh, I want to be a billionaire. You're very, very specific about the goal. You're also measuring the goal. How will I know that at 12 months, my life has changed? So you're putting metrics, you're putting key indicators of how you will be able to measure it at the end of the day that you've actually reached your goal. And you're also timely, because you are not saying that, oh, I want to be this. You are giving yourself time, and the time here is 12 months. Or at the end of 12 months, my life should have been XYZ, or I should have been in XYZ place. So setting SMART goals really is one of the keys to adapting in the job market. And really, you need to clarify what you need to learn, the skills you need to take up, the skills that are relevant to what you are doing or what you want to do, how to get the skills, why you want to learn it, and where you will learn it or when you will achieve it. So these are the kind of things that you need to be asking yourself. So if you want to do coding, you need to apply the SMART goals. How, why, where, and when. Those are the kind of things you need to be asking yourself. If you want to do fashion, you also need to apply the SMART goals. This helps you to be able to track your progress, to be able to evaluate how you're doing. So a lot of people, and we are very fond of this in this part of the world, December 31st, everybody's writing their goals for the year. Oh, this year I'm going to blow. This year I'm going to do this. This year I'm going to do that. But by mid-January, January is usually long. Uh, January usually have like 70 something days. That's joke, but I mean, January is usually long. So between December 31st and middle of January, you've forgotten the goals that you've written. You don't even have a vision board that you'll be looking at it and say, okay, I will be reminding myself of it every day. So people do this, just write goals and don't really, they're not really intentional about the goals. And this is one of the fastest way to, drop in this kind of competitive environment. So again, what I'm trying to say here is for you to be able to adapt in the changing jobs landscape, for you to be able to survive, for you to be able to thrive, for you to remain relevant, or for what you're doing to remain relevant, please set a smart goal. You always remember the key is to be better than how you were yesterday. So for you to be better than how you were yesterday, the smart goal comes in. What do I need to do to be better than how I was yesterday? And this is where learning opportunities also come in, right? So that's one. Number two is to seek feedback. So after you have set your SMART goals, you also need to do an analysis on yourself. What is your strengths? What is your weaknesses? Where are the opportunities for you? What are the challenges, and what are the threats to your learning? You need to ask somebody, and this is where mentorship comes in. If you don't have a mentor, that's fine. You need to speak to somebody that you trust their judgment, and somebody that is very open and objective. Yeah, objective is the word. Somebody that's objective and is open to giving you sincere feedback on your strengths, on your weaknesses, not just on your likes. I mean, you could like to do coding, but that could not be your strength. That maybe your strength could be something else differently. So you need to also look at that as well. You need to look at your where the opportunity lies for you. That's why I asked those questions at the beginning. 10 years from now, where do you think that you will still be relevant? Where do you think that you don't have to break the bank? You'll still be earning your bread and butter. You'll still be relevant. People will still look at your skill and still need your skill. So you need to identify that as well. You also need to identify the threats. Why will this skill be still, when you're asking, will this skill be relevant in 10 years from now? What are the threats to it? What are the things that will make this skill not be in demand anymore? I mean, things evolve every day. AI has come. AI has made things very easy. Now you don't need to, people don't even, I don't think people still use Google, but the dependence on Google has dropped because now with just one AI prompt, you've gotten all the information that you need. So AI is also a threat to Google as well. So you need to identify all those things as well. So that guides you in the kind of courses, that guides you in the kind of events, that guides you in the kind of conferences, that guides you in the kind of things that you want to do. The next thing is to look for methods and resources. And these are steps that I took. So I'm not trying to read something from Google or from the book for you. These are things that I am doing currently on my role as a project manager or as a global youth ambassador with Dear Watch UK. So you have to look for methods. You need to look for resources that align, both formal, both informal, online, individual, collaborative. Just look for spaces where you can get these resources. Now everything is online. You don't have to break the bank, right? People learn through YouTube. People learn through Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Information is everywhere. It's not hard to get anymore. So just look for what aligns with you, what you can easily get and quickly plug in. Then the next thing is networking. You need to also be in the rooms where these opportunities are. You can't say you want to do NGO work or you want to do development space and you are not attending any conferences that are close to that sector. You are not in any meeting. You are not speaking to anybody that is there. You don't have a mentor or a friend that is in that sector. It's going to be very hard to get opportunities there. So you need to network well, and you don't network smart. That's actually the word. You have to network smart. You don't have to you don't have to rely on I mean, there's LinkedIn, you could use it for your advantage, but you don't necessarily have to rely on online or social media to network. You need to be out there in people's faces. Let people see you. Let people know what you are doing. Like they say on Twitter, hawk your matter on your head. Oh, hi, my name is XYZ. I do XYZ for this. This is what I'm doing. This is my page. Just market your things so that people know. So that the next time there's an opportunity, you come top of mind on somebody, or somebody is quick to recommend you because you have spoken of yourself, or maybe you have a presence somewhere. You can't just all be in your world and think that opportunities will find you in your room. That's not going to happen. The next thing, or the final thing here, is you need to be very quick in your problem solving. Now, problem solving is one of the skills that employers are looking for currently. Somebody left my team 2-3 months ago, and we're looking for somebody that would replace the person that left. And one of the skills that we were looking for is problem solving, ability to solve a problem in the team. Because honestly, the space that I work in, there are many problems, right? Problems that have, it's not something that computer or laptop can really give you an answer to. You have to be very analytical in the kind of solutions that you create, and they're very innovative solutions that you need to create. So the ability to be able to be a problem solver will always put you on people's paycheck when they know that, Anita is able to give us a solution to this problem. They are calling you, you're on their speed dial. So those are the kind of things that you need to look out for, right? In the learning opportunities that you are identifying for yourself. So I'm just going to show you one more slide before I allow you to ask questions, because I know that I've been speaking for a while, but I would love to hear from you as well. So amongst all these beautiful things, right, there are challenges, of course, plenty challenges everywhere. So what are the challenges, right? We have one, lack of time and resources. So as beautiful as it sounds to you, please look out for opportunities, be intentional about opportunities, or go out and network, be a problem solver. There are real challenges, and I'm not one of those people that try to ignore them. I like to be real as well. When you don't have time or you don't have resources, right, it's very difficult for you to commit to improving yourself as a person. So if your time is very limited and scarce, you have your hands deep into every other thing around you, it might be very, very difficult for you to prioritize personal development. So in this case, what you need to do is to do a scale of preference. What is most important at this stage of my life? Why do I need to give attention to this? That would help you to be able to narrow your attention, or channel your energy in a very productive way. Then the second thing here is the lack of support. I mean, support is beyond, my dad and my mom giving me money to go to school and all that. Friends, loved ones also are very, very key in your learning journey. So if you don't have a support system, right, and there's nobody to hold you accountable, because I know many of my friends, they have taken courses and they will just sign up on courses and they will not finish. They don't have accountability partner. They don't have somebody that is asking them questions. How are you doing? What are the challenges with your journey? Do you need help? Where do you want me to help you? Who do you want me to plug you with? If they don't have that kind of support, or if you don't have that kind of support, it is going to be very difficult for you to be able to adapt in this job market that we are currently in. There is a lot of information that is going around, and sometimes, to be very honest, you cannot all be in the same place at the same time. You're not omnipresent, you're not God. And so information will fly past your head, but you just need one or two persons that will be able to speak to you and say, okay, there is something here that I think will be beneficial for you. I'm sharing it with you. Please plug in and all of that. So we all need support. And when there is a lack of support, you get discouraged easily, very fast. You get very, very discouraged at a very quick rate. And so this might affect your journey, or this will affect your journey, because when you feel very isolated, you feel very alone, you feel very, not gingered. I mean, I know that I said learning is self-motivated, but if there is no support as well, it's very quick for you to back down. That's what I'm trying to say. Then the last thing here that I'll mention before I allow you to ask me questions is the lack of applicability. So if your skills are not relevant, if they're not applicable, if they're not relevant in the industry you want to play in, it's going to be very hard for you. It's really going to be very hard for you. So one of the things that I tell people that are looking for jobs or looking for new opportunities is to look at what they are currently doing, analyze it, and ask yourself, is this relevant? What I'm doing, is it something that is needed? Do I need to pick up a new skill to be able to fit in the sector where I need to play in? Do I need to take up a course? Do I need to take up do I need to shadow somebody to just learn or pick up that skill that is needed in the application? I always ask people that, because it's very easy to get frustrated when your skill is not needed. It's just like putting a square peg in a round hole. It won't fit, right? It would not fit there, and you get very frustrated. You get passive aggressive. You might just, decide to call it quits one day. So these are the challenges. I mean, there are many, but these are the challenges that I think resonates with young people and what we are seeing currently in the job market. So I would just really want to pause here to ask if you have questions so we can take them and then conclude for this session. Any questions? Okay. Hi, Naomi.
Hello, Victoria. Hello, everyone. So, I do have a question. My question is, um, for someone who has chosen like their own life path, some people, migrating is not for everybody. Like you were able to go from philosophy to what you do now, and it's not necessarily for everybody. Some people have decided, oh, I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach for
Okay.
40 years and then retire. So someone like that who has chosen their own path, they've chosen their field, they want to be a teacher of their life, or maybe a lecturer. So for somebody like that, how do they still upskill? How do they stay updated on like relevant trends and things that is happening in their industry? For someone who teaches, say, primary 5 now, for 10 years, you'll be teaching a primary 5 class. Is there any need to upskill in that kind of a setting? Is there any need to stay updated with like trends in that type of a setting? That's my question.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that question. That's quite interesting. And yes, to answer your question, I would say yes, there is a need to upskill. And the reason is, as human beings, we are very programmed to change, and we are programmed to adapt, right? And the day you stop learning is the day you start going down. So for somebody that wants to do teaching for 40 years or 45 years, and you're teaching primary 1 or primary 5 class, let's look at it in Nigerian context now. So there is the teaching board. I think it's called the NUC, or is it NUC? That's for universities, but there's a teaching board for secondary school and primary school. I think it's a basic something education, right? And I know that they do teaching exams. Once in a while, they do teaching exams, and there have been instances where governors have just done impromptu visits to schools, and then they are very amazed at what's the kind of information the teacher is sharing with the children, and they're asking them, how did you even get into the system in the first place? So for somebody that is teaching primary school students, I think that there are opportunities, or there first of all, you need to be very that of the opportunities. And this is back to what I said about being intentional. Opportunities will not fall on your lap, information will not fall on your lap. So that kind of person needs to go out and look for an information to be able to improve, because I don't think that anyone should be satisfied with teaching the same thing all your life for the past 45 years without improving or without any new thing to even make you stand out in the rest of the crowd. So there are opportunities for them, and those are very available on the internet. And for them, those kind of people, they need to be very aware of them, need to intentionally go out and seek for those opportunities and apply it themselves. Migrating, like you said, yes, it's not for everybody. It doesn't really apply. You know, people migrate and then still they can't really find their feet in the new place where they are. But for just know what works for you. But the key here is you need to seek for knowledge. It is a must as a human being to seek for knowledge to improve yourself, because self-improvement is the best gift that you can ever give yourself. So I don't think that somebody should be very comfortable with the way they are because they are very used to that line of work, or they are used to that way of life. You need to go out there and seek for information, something that would even make you stand out. Just say they are giving promotion in that in that school or something, you would not be on the list because there's nothing new, there's no value you are bringing apart from what you have been doing in the last 40 years, like that. So that would be my answer to the question. That really, I hope I've been able to answer.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much. I do have another question. Can I go?
Yes.
Okay. So the second question I have is, this issue with like networking, is I feel like in the past couple of years, it's been on the rise. Network. You need to network, and now I feel like a lot of people don't know what exactly networking is. Like they often ask, how do I network? Do I just walk up to somebody, tell them, is that all networking is? And then what more can I do? Should I reach out to the person via email and try to like build a relationship, or should I just leave it at that? How does networking come into play in real life? And then another sub question with regards to networking is, how do you separate networking from like social climbing? Because sometimes it's confusing and it's like, I don't want to do too much. Let it not be like I want to enter this person and be in their personal space, and a
Yeah.
lot of people that are elites, they don't like social climbers. So how do you differentiate networking and social climbing, and how can we practice networking like in real life when we go to conferences, seminars? How do you propose we network in real life? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. So for networking, like you said, um it's not really something that is set in stone. So just think about you meeting a friend for the first time. And I mean, it can be very awkward, meeting somebody that you don't know and you're like, oh, my name is Victoria, I do this, I do that, I would love to be your friend. It can be very awkward. So practically, I'm going to use what I do, or these, what has worked for me. So I go to an event and I meet somebody that is very interesting, and the work that the person does, or the person's personality is interesting, and I want to follow up the conversation. I exchange pleasantries with the person. So you don't just come up to make it very obvious that you are following up with the person, or you are connecting with the person based on what the person is doing. You have to find something interesting about the person that you can build up on, that you can build a relationship on. So first of all, think towards the line of toying towards like making a new friend, right? Just speak to the person. Oh, my name is XYZ. It's lovely to meet you. I do this and I do that. Can we exchange contact and all? You exchange contact. I'm very sure that 90% of people that you meet will exchange contact with you at first instance. So after you get the contact, the next thing for you to do is, when you get home or when you are settled, you send an email or a message to say, oh, hi, this is XYZ. We met at this event. It's lovely to meet you or make your acquaintance, just to check in on you and all that. Just leave it there, right? You have followed up with the person. That's first thing, or that's the first two things you have done, is to just register your name in that person's head. Not like anything substantial will come out. It's just for you to just register that, oh, there's somebody called Victoria or that I met today, right? That's what you have done. Then give it time. Don't be at the person's face, or don't be in the person's face every time. Don't go and be liking the person's LinkedIn immediately after he just met the person, like let's say a day after or 2 days after. Give it time to just naturally play out, right? And then you follow up with the person. Maybe you can just look up for the person's LinkedIn and connect with the person and contribute to the person's post. The person posts something that aligns with what you think, is what aligns with you, or something that is interesting generally. You like or you share or you comment on the person's post. What you're trying to do is just to build a relationship with the person. Not because, I mean, the goal is to connect and to extend or work towards the person, but the first thing or the first priority for you is to build a relationship with the person. So this is what I do basically. I go to an event, I find somebody that is interesting, I exchange contact with the person. When I get home, it might not, sometimes it might not even be that day, it might just be like 2 days later. And then I send a message to say, hi, we met at XYZ event. It's lovely to meet your acquaintance, blah, 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 speak all the English, and I let it rest. Some week later, in fact, some months later, I follow up with the person again, just to check in on the person, ask about the person's work, ask about you wanting, like, put up an interest, a genuine interest in what the person is doing. Just ask the person questions about the person's work, and naturally, the person will open up to you. If you are asking the person about oh, there's something you've connected with the person and you're just telling the person all about your work, all about what you're interested in, without asking the person for his own work or her own work, or something that is very interesting to her, it would look like you are after just getting that connection. So my point here is, try and establish a relationship with the person. Be genuinely interested in the person's work or in the person's job, and then follow up with the person on that line. Building a relationship or building a connection goes beyond a timeline. It goes beyond 1 month, goes beyond 3 months. Just think about it as partnerships. There are partners where you pursue for 1, 2, 3 years. You are just, trying to get them to come on board on your project. You are taking them out to dinners. You guys are hanging out. You are visiting each other. It's just because you want them to come on your project. But the way you are doing it is you're trying to be friends with that person, be interested in the person's work, which will now naturally lead to the person coming on board on your project. So that approach is what I use. And to be honest, it works for me every time. It works for me every time. So that's one for networking. Then the difference between networking and social climbing. Well, I think that there's a very thin line, like you have said in your question. There's a very thin line. Social climbing is you just very, very unsincere. I don't know how best to put it, but very unsincere in connecting with the person, or you're connecting with the person because of your own gain or what you gain from the person, right? Which is what I'm trying to, explain with the networking thing. You have to build a relationship first with the person. Be genuinely interested in the work that the person is doing. Support the person's work. Go for the person's events. Ask the person to, if the person has an invite, ask for an invite to attend. The person extend an invite to you, show up. If the person doesn't extend an invite to you, let it be. Don't force things, basically. But in as much as you can, try to control the dynamics so that it doesn't escalate into something else. So there's a thin line between networking and social climbing. Social climbing is when you're chasing after something. You're just because you want to get something from the person. And networking is a much more, longer approach. It's very intentional. It's an intentional journey that you need to take with somebody that could extend beyond 1, 2, 3 months. It's something that you need to consciously build. Just consciously nurture the relationship until it gets to where you want it to get to. So that would be my answer to your question. Do we have any more questions?
No, that would be all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Alison, please, you can go ahead.
My question is a follow-up to what you just said. In the
Okay.
event of, let's say you're networking, you're trying to network with somebody, and in the course of it, you find out that, oh, it's not the sort of person, like, plainly, oh, this is a terrible person. But the work that you do is important to the work that you do. How do you navigate that kind of situation? Because like you said, networking, you have to play the long game. But then you
Yeah.
find out that oh, it's not somebody I actually really like that. But the person's work is important to your work. How do you navigate that?
Okay. All right. So, first of all, I would say that you need to try and take emotions out of it, right? Work is work. I don't think that it is wise to have um like a lot of emotions invested into work. I know that it can be hard sometimes because it affects or impacts your work at the end of the day, but work is work and you need to manage that person. So you don't have to like the person, but because of the fact that there is work to be done, you just need to tolerate or you just need to professionally address the situation, right? So take for instance now, like you have said, you don't like the person or the person has a bad personality, but the person's work is essential to the kind of work that you do. What you need to do in that instance, first of all, like I said, remove emotions out of it. Just forget about the person's personality and relate with the person professionally, right? Keep it at professional level. Don't let it go past professional level. Be civil, be cordial, be respectful, be nice, but on a professional level. Don't allow it get beyond that, right? Because at the end of the day, once you start mixing work with emotions, it's going to be very hard. You're going to find yourself in situations where you do not even bargain for, and you'll be dealing with a lot of things that will be stressing you out. So to avoid that, just keep it at professional level. You don't have to. I mean, we all work with people that are very nasty and they have bad character and all that. They're everywhere. You can't filter those people away. You just have to find a way to manage them and convert all of those their energy to something productive for you so that you keep yourself and your head out of stress in that way. So that's what I would say to your question. I hope that I've been able to answer it.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, great. I see one more hand raised up.
Hello. So I have a question
Okay.
to ask, and I
Okay.
might want to take you back to a bit where you said, if we should check what we are learning now, that skill wise, like how relevant is it going to be
Mm-hmm.
in the next 10 years? Say someone started learning a specific
Mm-hmm.
skill, and over the time, there's this it's still along. I'd like to think that it's still along the lines of
Okay, so your network is breaking up. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you
All
now.
right. So I said that I want to kind of like take you back to what you said earlier about the relevance of your
Okay.
skill in the next 10 years. And say someone started learning
Yeah.
a specific skill now, and over the years, I think that, like, for me, for example, I'm very inquisitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
know, I want to try, like, can I do it? Is it going to be my thing kind of situation? And over the years,
Yeah.
sometimes some skill may not be in demand. Like, we don't know, like, we can try to like evaluate and the pros
Mm-hmm.
and cons according to like how fast the job market is changing and how easily replaceable. Because like you said
Mm-hmm.
earlier, there are now tools for like automating tasks, and also there's the manual process is beginning to like go out of existence because there are so many platforms for that. But
Yeah.
where I'm trying to drive us specifically is for someone who is always like knowledge inclined. She wants to try this, she wants to do this and all. Like, I understand that specialization is like very important, but what do
Mm-hmm.
you advise that like I do, that in the sense of, since I like to want to try things, to know things and all of that, do you think it's advisable to keep like, gathering those skill sets, even though you're supposed to like harness one to you're very, very good at it kind of thing?
Okay. So Um, if I get you correctly, there is nothing wrong in being a generalist. There is absolutely nothing wrong in being a generalist. You have more people these days, doing they're specializing in a particular field, and that's what they do. That's how they earn their bread and butter. It's fine. But the truth about it is being a generalist, and by generalist I mean somebody that has a diverse set of skill, right, is much more much more beneficial or much more ahead of the specialists. And this is because you have a lot of skills that that person doesn't have. That person is just in his own space doing his own thing because he has mastered it. But you have mastered so many skills, which is going to be demanded. So if the job market likes, it should fall and rise up again. You are still going to be at, you still have an edge over the specialist. And that's honestly that's how, or that is what that's the kind of thing that I do currently. So I have skill in media, I have skill in consulting, I have skill in project management, and currently playing in a youth and engagement sector. So there is no how you want to sweep the game or swipe or turn the game. I'm still, going to be okay. Do you understand? So the thing is, go for being a generalist. Don't just, I mean, it's good to specialize, it's good to be a master at what you do, but you can master all the skills and still be okay. So I think it's very good, honestly. I don't think that there's not anything wrong in having all of the skill, or I don't think there's anything wrong. I think it's actually good because I mean you can combine a lot of things and you still be okay and still be able to get results, at what you do. So I think it's really good, to be honest.
All right, thank you
Yeah.
very much. Also, I wanted to ask, problem solving in this case, problem solving is actually a soft skill, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate.
Yes. You're welcome. You're welcome. Do we have any more questions? Any more, or any feedback? Any place where you want me to clarify? I see that it's 7:16, so I just wanted to wrap up. Let me check the chat. Okay, no other questions. Oh, I see hands. Okay, great. Please go ahead.
And I think I'm
Hi.
going to go back to when we were talking about support from friends, family, or parents. I want to
Okay.
know if you encountered the situation I'm going to try and paint out and how you navigated it. Let's say you have a friend that you both
Mm-hmm.
try the self development together. You're let's okay, your accountability partner, but they are also your very good friends. How do you
Mm-hmm.
deal with upskills more and then decide that you know they're not on your level anymore and they just probably just maybe hang out with people that are top or people that are I don't know the word for it. People that are better, yeah, people that are better in the skill that you guys have. Basically, how do you deal with losing a support system that you have?
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's very very tricky and personal. How do I deal with a support system that I have? Okay. So the thing about it is, um, do you want me to be honest here? And I'll give you diplomatic answer. But the truth is, it's very hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard losing a support system, especially if that person is your friend, your very good friend at that. And, it looks like the person has left you in self-development journey and the person is doing well and you're just there trying to find your feet and all of that. It's not really a nice place to be in. It's hard. But the thing is, you have to understand that life is a function of personal responsibility, right? and life is like people will say per head. This life is one. You have to run your race. You have a race to run, and 20 friends cannot be the same or cannot play together for 20 years. It's not possible. And that's how life is. So you can be friends today and be strangers tomorrow. That's beyond your control, right? So you really cannot really control that. But the thing about it is that if it happens that you lose a very good friend on this account, I think you should, after you finish crying, of course, pat yourself on the back and do the work that needs to be done. Really, do the work that needs to be done. I know that is really, it can be very emotional. And this, I'm saying from a place of experience and from a place of, I don't want you to be in that bubble where I will say, oh, don't worry, it is well. No, I'm just trying to be very real with you. I know it's painful, but you have to take up that as a responsibility on your part to do well, because nobody wants to associate with somebody that is not doing well. Success has many friends, right? If you are successful and you're doing well, you don't even need to ask for support people, support system or support groups. People will come around you. But when you're not doing well, that's when you don't find anybody. So you need to take that up. If it happens to you that your friend, you lose a friend on that account, or maybe on self-development journey, you people are not on the same level again. You need to level up as well. You need to also level up. Not like you're trying to compete with that person, but you need to level up for yourself. You need to build yourself up to that person's level so that it is doing you a lot of good when you're confident, or when you're doing well, when you can actually raise up your head in gatherings and you have something good to offer, something nice to offer. You're not just shallow, you're very grounded. So that's what I'm going to say, to be honest. Really, I hope I'm not so harsh with that, but that's the reality of things. You need to take that up as your own challenge. Develop yourself, get yourself up to that level where you want to be. And if they come back, you take them. It's not no hard feelings. If they don't come back, you move on to
Yeah,
other things. Yeah.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hi Esther, I see your hands raised. Hello Esther. Okay, if Esther is not ready, can Blue Blue Zix go? Did I pronounce it well?
Blocks is actually.
Loxis. Okay. My
All right.
apologies.
That's fine. So I'd like to ask, this is like more like I want to know. So personally, you said you met with people. I think you mentioned Bella Niger and someone else to talk about like the job market and skills that would still be relevant. So personally, I'd like to ask, what are like the top 5 skills that you personally think would still be relevant in 10 years' time?
Okay. So there is a research that was done. I think that maybe I would just I can't pull up my email right now. They've just dropped it on the chat box for you to just click on the link to read the report. But what I can do is to share the report with you so that you see what was done, or what we're able to sample amongst youths in Africa. The report was, Nigeria, all over Africa, actually. But from top of my head, skills in tech is never going to go away. In fact, tech is now the new crude oil. And it's not just for Africa, for the world entirely. So anything tech will fly in the next 10 years. Anything agriculture will fly in the next 10 years. And this is why. The reason is, so the world is moving at a very let me try and simplify it. Let me not give you dictionary example. So the thing is, people are not going to farms anymore. People are doing industrialization. There's a lot of industrialization going on. There's a lot of technology is, changing a lot of things. So the people that would have gone to plants They are right now doing tech. They are behind seats. So we are going to be very hungry in the next 10 years, according to that research that was done. So anything agriculture, agricultural economics, agricultural, there are a couple would fly in the next 10 years. Nursing, health, skills in health will also fly because, of course, you need to survive. People need to be well and okay. So people in that sector will also be relevant. The thing that shocks me on that report was that teaching was not mentioned. Teaching was not mentioned. Project management was not mentioned. What else was not mentioned again? It was very shocking for me because I thought that, oh, everybody's looking for a project manager, everybody's doing I was very shocked. And the reason that was given was that all of these things can be learned over the internet, going back to tech as well. So I will just share that report with you so that you can get a full understanding of just beyond the skills that are going to be relevant, but to see the opportunities that are bound where you can plug in, where you can play, and you can reach out to me if you need any more guidance or anything you need me to plug you with. So yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate.
Okay. Okay. So Esther.
Hi, good evening. Good evening,
Hi.
everybody.
Good evening.
Um, I wanted to ask because I don't know somehow while you were answering, I think Sibyl, I don't know, sorry if I pronounced your name wrongly, but you sort of answered the question concerning support. I wanted to actually ask, like, you mentioned lack of support, and in my head I was like, is there a way to create that support, like to make it happen for you? Because probably you have people around, but in terms of the skills you're venturing into, they are not really as supportive in that aspect, but maybe in other aspects they are. So is there like a way to create that kind of support that would be needed? Because personally I just need advice on that. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to be specific on the things that you're doing that you think is not getting the right
Oh,
support?
okay. So I've been, like, I want to venture into content writing, like just content writing
Okay.
or writing in general. But then I don't have like the kind of support I need from friends or family, or I don't even know how to even approach people to be like, okay, I need you to help me be an accountability partner. I don't just know how to do that, and I need that kind of support to like carry on. Thank you.
Okay. So the thing I would say is your output needs to be very convincing a lot for people to support you or to jump on what you are doing. Um, Content writing is good, but we understand that this kind of our parents, if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, or or somebody in those white collar jobs, you are going to struggle a lot. So what I would say to you is whatever you're churning out needs to be very convincing. You don't have to shalaye too much, right? For people to support you. What you're churning out should do 80% of your work. So if you have good content material, if you are very good with what you are doing, it's easy to talk to people about getting support on your job, right? So starting afresh can be very hard, yes, but people need to see, people need to feel what you are doing, people need to see it to be able to believe you and to be able to say, okay, this person knows what you are doing. So what I would say to you is dedicate more time, dedicate your energy into putting out something that is very, very good, so that you are not shalaing too much. You are sharing, what you are sharing is like you are, how will I say it now? There's a saying, you say use your success as a tool or something like that. Use your success to do the talking, right? Essentially. So yeah, that's all I would be able to say on that. Adiola. Okay. Hi, Adiola. Hi. You're welcome, Esther. Hi, Adiola. You can mute, unmute and speak.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
My
evening.
question is, how do you all right. Good evening.
Good
How
evening.
do you put into consideration things that make a skill relevant? Good evening. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you well.
All right. What are the things to put into considerations in determining if a skill will be relevant? Are they All right. Are there factors that determine how relevant a skill will be?
Yes. Can you hear me?
That is my question.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So I don't know if you were here when we started, right? So, but quickly, um, the things to know or the things to consider to or how you'll be able to measure your the relevance of your skill is, first of all, you need to do a comparison or do a quick analysis on yourself and in the area or the sector where you're playing. You check what you're doing and check your sector. So for example now, I am a project manager. I work in the development space, right? And I do a lot of projects, work with NGOs and all of that. There are so many things that go into that. There are so many skills that I need to have. I need to be able to relate with people. I need to have good technical skills, good writing skills, good communication skills, and all of that. Those are skills that you necessarily need to have, right? But for your skill, for that thing, that your job as a project manager to be very relevant in 10 years time, you need to sit down and do an assessment on what you're doing currently. What you're doing, is it giving you any positive outputs? Is there any positive results? What is your manager saying concerning your role? What is the sector saying? So you need to do a lot of research, right? Essentially, you need to do a lot of research. What is the sector saying? What is the future of what future do you see yourself as in that role, or how do you see yourself in future on that role in terms of evolving? So again, you go back to your SMART goal. What you are doing, is it specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it giving you results? Is it timely? Those are the kind of things you need to check out for. And again, you compare yourself to your counterparts. What are your counterparts doing that is making the ways for them, that is opening doors, that is bringing opportunities their way? And what do you think you can learn from it? So those are the kind of things you need to check for you to be able to know if you're on the right track or not. But like I said before, I'm trying to attach the research that was done that I did with Bella Niger and the rest of the team. Well, I can't attach it here. So what I'm going to do is to email it so that it can be shared with you and you read more on it. Okay. Hi, Naomi. She says she has a question on how we can develop a better mindset. Okay. Okay, great. Mindset is very interesting. And I love this question. How to develop a better mindset. First of all, like the normal Nigerian in me, we say, try and remove everything doubts, everything fear, everything negative out of your mind. So at the back of fear is the opportunity that lies for you. When you are very, very doubtful of, you're always asking yourself, you're always on the bad side, you're always thinking negative things will happen. You need to get rid of that mindset. You need to get rid of fear. You need to get rid of doubt. You need to trust in your capacity. You need to trust in your abilities. Even if you don't have anything going for yourself, you need to believe in yourself and believe that you have something to offer, right? It doesn't have to be complete. It doesn't have to make sense. But as long as you're able to convince yourself that you have something good to offer, is going to help you. That shifts your mind and perspective and opens you up to a possibility. So you have the I can do attitude, right? I can do attitude. And that's one of the things that employers or people are looking for right now, especially in young people. There's somebody, just for jokes, there's somebody on my team that we used to call I can't do, because anything you give her, I cannot do it. Anything you do, I cannot do. But that puts you on a very, on an advantage with other people, because you can't, you will be shutting yourself up for opportunities. When promotion come, they will consider you. When benefit come, they will consider you, because you've turned yourself to I can't do. So you need to possess an I can do attitude. You need to be intentional about your growth. You need to be very uncomfortable with the way you are right now. There is always something more. Always ask yourself, what's more? What more can I offer? What more can I do? How can I be better? Those questions every day you ask yourself, right, goes beyond your daily affirmations. I know that, yes, there is power in speaking, and people say, oh, you have to write something and be speaking to yourself daily, and the words you speak will shape your mind. I know. But beyond speaking, there's work to be done. You have to do the work of detoxifying yourself of everything negative and opening yourself up to possibilities. Open yourself to positive, right? Possess yourself. In fact, immerse yourself in I can do this thing. Is a small thing for me. I can do it. I will try. It's beyond just speaking. It's actually doing it. And taking the steps to do it. So that's how I think that you can develop a better mindset. Honestly, apart from the fact that, perspire to perspire, but I be aspire to perspire. But the truth is, there is work to do, and that work is you sitting down and telling yourself, being sincere with yourself first. The first thing to do, be sincere with yourself. Where you are currently, do you like it? If you are comfortable with it, fine. But if you're not comfortable with it, you talk to yourself, have that pep talk with yourself, detoxify yourself from the negative of something that, oh, I can't be done, it can't be done, nobody else has done it before, my family, did not get to this point, nobody has gotten to this level. Take that away from your mind and think about the positives. And then after thinking about the positive, actively look for opportunities that aligns with that. And anytime somebody negative is around you, please run away. Negative people, they are like mosquitoes, they follow us everywhere, but try and as much as possible to disassociate yourself from negative people, and always to think on the positive, think of good things, think of beautiful things, think of possibilities, think big, think wild, go crazy with your dream. They always say that God gives you a dream because he knows he can fund it. So don't think about how will all these things come together. Think about what will happen when it comes together. So that gingers you, that energizes you, that makes you see the bigger picture. Right? So yeah, that's what I would say about that. Hi Esther, do you want to say something? Hi Esther. Okay. I don't think Esther is here, but if there are no more questions, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It was really, really good to speak with you. It was good to talk about this topic. Thank you so much for having me, to be honest. I really enjoyed myself discussing. Okay, that's fine, Esther. That's fine. I really enjoyed myself discussing with you, learning from you, answering your questions. Yeah. So my charge or my final words here would be that please apply yourself to learning. I know that in this part of the world, there's everything that's going wrong. There's so much, happening that is fighting for your life and fighting for your attention, especially because, as we live in Nigeria, so many things are happening every day. There's so much discouragement, there's so much darkness, and everywhere is just gloomy. Everybody with long faces, frustration, complaining, Tunumbu this, Tunumbu that. There is all that. But I would want you to, think on the bright side, think on the possibilities that exist outside of the shores of this country. Think about how things can change for you in a minute. Think about how you can influence people, influence your generation, influence policies, make life better for another person, and apply yourself to those things. Yeah, look for the opportunity. Don't be in your corner. Don't do life alone. Really, don't do life alone. Try to mingle, belong to a community, speak to people, market your thing, hawk it like gala, like they say, and just try and just put yourself out there. To be honest, nobody else will do it for you. Personal responsibility is your headache. Development, self-development is your headache. So you have to do it for yourself. Nobody will do it for you. I keep saying that. So you need to know that there is work to be done beyond glitz and glamour, beyond all the titles. There's actually work to be done, and it's not going to be happening in one day, yes, but you need to start the journey. And where you need help, please reach out. um I'm a call away, I'm a message away. I think that if you need to reach me, the organizers know how to reach me. So I'm always very open to connecting with you. You can follow me on LinkedIn. We can connect there and talk about how to, position you better for more chances. But here, this is me saying thank you again, and look forward to seeing you or talking to you in future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Victoria. We thank you very